Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us once again for the Discipline Therapy podcast on this Discipline Therapy Thursday with your two incredible hosts, Mr. E.L. Discipline, and with him always, Suhei Sotomayor. Now, before we get started, I know you guys see the beautiful guests we have here. You know what we do. We got to clear the energy. Still going. All right. So we have today's season 11 finale, episode 121. Do you think more abuse comes from men or women? And the beautiful guest we have in studio is Miss Rebecca. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
You smell really good, by the way.
Thank you.
I love it.
I don't know which you're referring to, only if it's the natural or,
I don't know.
spray.
Whatever you smell,
Okay.
whatever you have going on, smells
It's my natural
good.
aroma.
Oh, very nice. I like that.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Okay, we're going to get into it.
All right. We have a link in the description on how to become part of our Patreon family and subscribe for exclusive content, blooper, behind the scenes, Mr. E.L. Discipline's solo lectures of discipline therapy talk, his BDSM content, the erotica posts and writings by Mr. E.L. Discipline. Also, we have collaborative shows pertaining to sensitive topics such as abortion, transgender, conspiracy theories, and much more with myself and with Mr. Discipline. Once again, to become part of the Patreon family, it's patreon.com/the Discipline Therapy Podcast. We also have Mr. E.L. Discipline's books. He has 7 published books. They're available on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Kindle for electronic versions as well, and more. There's also a link in the description of the video for that, and our online store for our merch, which we have something dropping. Well, we try to have something new dropping every month. So we have different categories that you guys could check out. And for that is disciplinetherapy.launchcart.store/shop. And when you go to check out, we have a coupon code for 15% off worldwide, and that is Summer Therapy 2023. We're also on major listening platforms such as Spotify, iTunes, Deezer, Castbox, and much, much more. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Our websites are www.thedisciplinetherapypodcast.com. Also, www.eldiscipline.com for business inquiries, which is you want to be on the show, you want to give us topics to talk about. That is SSOTOMAYOR0307 @gmail and info@eldiscipline.com. Now, for all wait for, Mr. E.L. Discipline will do his thing.
Rebecca, it's about to get really intense in here. I'm going to turn the temperature up. So I just want to warn you. I don't know if you watched how much you watch the shows. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all know y'all fiends, and y'all know what that means. We're serving you your dose weekly of discipline therapy, where not everything is completely free, as there are plethora of exclusive content on Patreon for you to see. But what is free is it's judgment free, sucker free, censor free, sensitive free, and some liberty. God and the ancient ancestors are great, and that means everything else is straight. So go grab your wine, popcorn, or my favorite, roll a blunt. But make sure the children are in bed. Why? Because we have that soul food and sometimes vulgar conversation. Prepare your mind to be fed. Light one up, inhale life, and exhale strife. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, you are tuned in to the Discipline Therapy Podcast.
We're here.
Are you impressed?
More than.
I asked all the guests this.
You really do. You really do.
I mean, everybody's going to have a different opinion.
Yeah. So I can't wait to get into this topic. Thank you for coming on. So how we're going to do this is the guest always goes first. I don't bring people on to debate. Okay.
It's not what this is.
Also, if this was going to be a debate, I would have sent you the bullets so you'll be prepared.
Exactly.
Because I would want a fair debate.
Thank you.
So what we do is, because I live a different lifestyle than contrary to the norm, maybe we'll talk about that or we won't. I like to hear different people's perspectives, men and women. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do like a panel discussion. We're going to go through certain bullets, questions, whatever it is. You're going to be first. You're going to talk about your perspectives, give your answers. I might ask you why. challenge your ideologies. Sue will go, then I'll go last.
Beautiful.
Okay. So before we get into this topic, here's a list of some forms of abuse people are unaware of and do it. And some people are aware of it. Then we will ask, everybody else's perspective. So this is coming from men and women.
Okay.
Gaslighting, which is a intentional act of making someone distrust their view of reality or believing they're mentally unstable. You make excuses for your partner's behavior sometimes. Oh, you made me feel this way. Those are examples. Let's see. Everything you do is wrong, or I never do anything right. Emotional abuse, that's belittling, emasculating, sarcasm, smart mouth, smart remarks, eye rolling, shaming, projection, dumping issues onto victims instead of taking accountability or blame. How you love, how you hold your victims accountable to the same degree of that love. Twisting, lack of empathy, silent treatment, sabotage, overstating their own importance, emotional blackmail, making everything a competition, love bombing, demonstrating attention and affection in an attempt to influence another, or thinking that they will love you back. Financial abuse, privacy invasion, sense of entitlement, withholding, playing the victim card, ignoring your achievements, downplaying your achievements, not supporting your dreams or projects. And like I said, this is from both genders. So that's just some. Now that I stated some of them, when we look at the term abuse, we tend to associate that by nature with verbal or physical. And we also tend to associate it with one gender being more abusive, verbal or physical. So why do we leave out emotional, psychological, spiritual, or sexual?
Word.
Interesting.
So why do we do that?
Okay. Well, I think it comes down from what you're taught. In all honesty, it comes from your environment, how you're grown, and everybody knows that when we come here, we were not, we didn't have an option. We're all just here as it is. So a lot of these social norms have a higher reputation, some of them for men, some of them for women. And it's kind of crazy to see how the leverage is on that, because if you really want to peel away the layers, it kind of makes it equal on both sides. Men do it, women do it. We are guilty of both. We have all done both. I know personally, I am not proud of it, but I have done some of them. I know my friends that have, men and women. So it kind of comes down to why, like you said, is this a norm for us to essentially think that one gender per se, a man is going to be more verbally abusive, and then also if now you want to get into the financial abuse, right? So typically men are making more money. They are hierarchies within the business world. So for years and decades, it's always been, oh, well, you need to do as I say, otherwise I'm not going to give you your money. You're not going to have an allowance. You're not going to have the life that you thought that you were going to have if you don't do X, Y, and Z for me. So again, it's always going to be about peeling back the layers. We are in 2023. We are not in 1940, 50, 60 anymore. We're not in the 70s. We're not in the 80s. God forbid, let's go back to the 90s, please. But we're not even there. So we have grown, not only as a person, as a human, but as a people together to understand and see we're both guilty.
Okay.
So I guess now what I'm saying is it's time for us to be able to peel back the layers, to be able to see that it should not be a norm anymore. It should not be something that we automatically pinpoint, oh, a man is like that, oh, a woman does that. That's not fair, because obviously a woman could be more emotionally abusive because we are connected more to love, to the emotional side of things. Guys tend to sometimes hide that, right? So again, it's equal. We have the balls on that. You guys have the balls on the other. So for me now, especially understanding that in 2023, so much has changed within the last 10 years as it is. We can't keep to be the same anymore.
Okay. What's up, Sue?
Well, I think this question you said, why do we leave out emotional, psychological? I don't think we do. I do believe that people leave out spiritual
Yes.
abuse, definitely, and sexual abuse. They leave out in the relationship aspect because I think a lot of people think, well, if I'm in a relationship and that's my husband or that's my boyfriend and I don't want to have sex, but he wants to have
I'm
sex,
supposed
you know
to.
what I mean? Like they don't, even if she says no, they're not going to consider it as sexual abuse or rape. You know what I mean? So that's, but the other ones,
Boundaries.
right? The other ones, I definitely think, you know, why we tend to associate men with being more abusive. I think it's because, kind of like what Rebecca said, men are more the ones in power, like how they have been for so many centuries, and because of that, you know, men. In another episode, we discussed how if men want to make a change and they, you know, form like a group and start to riot, you know, it can turn violent. So I think a lot of times because the male is associated with being able to turn that on and off, that violence, that's why they associate those types of abuse with men. But I definitely think women can be just as verbally abusive and psychologically, definitely, emotionally, 100% abusive. And I also think that men do it, their abuse because they are men is more physical. You know what I mean? Because they're stronger than you. They can pin you down. They can, you know, fling you across the room if they want to, or throw you on the bed or whatever. And a woman knows, I can't do that. Even if I try to punch him in the face, my hits are going to be what? A little tap or something. So they try to go for something else, right? They try to emasculate you.
They also will go into the whole like choking you and pinning you down. Like that's not something that we like outside of the bedroom.
Right.
Are you speaking subjective?
Who, me?
Is that personal?
Personal for me, yes, it has been,
okay.
and it's also been for people around me that I know. And it's not okay. And normally, yes, it is from a man doing that to a female. And again, because we are tinier, you know, like we are just physically tinier than men. Even if we're going to the, you know, gym and being swole and working out, 90% of the females are not getting these bodybuilding bodies like men get, unless we're taking hormones, this, that, like, you know, it's not natural for us as a female, as a naturally born female, to be able to have the capacity that your body with your muscles has.
Yeah, science and biology.
I also feel like because we know that, then we do it more on a psychological level.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we know how to fuck with you more because we're like,
Yeah.
And you know what you left out there as a form of abuse? Manipulation.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So women are more emotional, men are more physical. We associate it more with one gender because mostly one gender talks about it.
Puts the
Did
spotlight
you?
on it.
I'm trying to. I don't want to misspoke, but correct me if I'm wrong. Did you say more men will keep it in?
Yes.
Emotionally?
Yeah,
Emotionally.
men are more
Yes.
stoic.
Yes.
So
they're taught to not have feelings and emotions and to
Yeah.
talk about them, and that's not okay.
There's a man in the city near you who had a woman probably emasculate him. Maybe she put her hands on him.
Yeah.
But he's viewed both ways. Oh, you a bitch if you say anything? Man up. Or it's not believable. You know what I'm saying? Because you ladies even said it, like, because of science and biology, men are larger, stronger, muscle density. We could even go more in depth.
Yeah.
Skeletal system and all that. Now I'm gonna get to the second part. Social constructs too. We leave out emotional, psychological, spiritual, and sexual because we look at those things as like minor. You understand what I'm saying? So spiritual can come from, because I get it all the time. Oh, I like to do a reading on you. You know, you look so good. I'm getting potent energy. Yeah, I'm getting potent energy from you. I like to do a reading on you. No, you do not have my permission. because you can incorporate a spiritual abuse. You can manipulate my energy. No, I don't trust you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Psychological, emotional. Now, psychological, emotional might not come from most men, like you ladies were saying, because y'all are, well, physically inferior by nature. You are going to say, well, how am I going to get the upper hand?
Yes.
You
How
know?
can I hurt him back?
Yeah.
Like, yep.
Or hurt him more.
Hurt him more.
Like he's hurt me.
I know he's really, sorry to cut you off. I know he's really like beast, masculine. If I tell him he's a bitch, that might hit home.
Or that also might, turn
Emasculate.
around and then he'll get raw and
Yeah.
then go even harder
Yeah,
on you.
because he doesn't have emotional intelligence.
Exactly. And he doesn't have the capacity to hold himself back.
Yeah. Self-control. Yep. Yep.
And again, this also comes back down to how was the man raised? How was his
I was about to
family
say that.
life? Were his parents incompensating with love? Did you get hugs? Were you able to go out as a family? Did you have, it doesn't even, and a lot of people want to say, well, we didn't have money, we grew up poor. I understand. I was not one of those people that grew up with money, okay, at all, in any type of way. And to understand that now as an adult, to know what my parents did sacrifice, right? But they still showed us love. They
Right,
still-
you don't have to go out or spend money to show love.
Exactly. So as a family, did you guys hang out? Did you have family dinners together? Did you go on walks together? Did you go to the park? Like, were you there? Did you have that love? Did you have that energy? Same thing with when you went to school. Were they uplifting? Were you bullied?
Yeah.
Were people there to help you see the world that you are worthy of love and that you don't have to be this way? Then on the other side, were you abused? Were you
Right, did you
emotionally
see that?
abused?
Did you see your parents, your
Exactly.
mom,
Yeah,
your
yeah,
mom
yeah.
get her ass beat, or did you
All
see?
that plays
Did you
a
see your
factor.
mom, belittle your dad?
And then, did you get therapy? Because without it, nobody's going to be able to change, grow,
To heal.
do anything, exactly heal. But heal those, it's the same way as that we're healing externally. You want to put a Band-Aid over it, and then you want to take it off, and then you want to let the air cleanse it. It's going to take time. It does not happen overnight. But if you want to change and you want to grow and you understand now and learn that I can be better as a female that's not going to be emotionally abusive and a man that's not going to be physically abusive, you need to, okay, did I do this? Did it hit home for me?
Recognize it, identify it.
Right.
It's like that.
We're going to be triggered. We're going to be triggered. That's how we
I was about to
navigate.
say that. Yep.
through
What are
it.
your triggers?
Take all of your steps and make sure that you understand, why is this triggering me?
Right, learn yourself.
Exactly. I don't want to learn myself. I will be the first to admit that right now. I do not. There is so much in there that I know, but because of that, it also comes down to I know, and I have been able to touch on it. I won't go back all the way to the parts where I know that it's going to screw with me mentally, but I can be strong enough to say, okay, I did this, I went through this is what happened. Let me take that and move on from it.
That's the shadow work, though. You need to go through that.
Do you feel like you'll ever get to that point, you think?
Eventually.
Yeah. It's not, listen, I did that, and I saw, like, that's one of the, like he said, shadow work. You have to, it's a hard thing to look at yourself in the mirror and start listing shit that you don't like about yourself. Start listing things like, I can't believe I was that type of a person at one point.
But then there are some people that unfortunately are not at the capacity emotionally or mentally to be able to do that, because then when they do, that's when it goes tragic and then they can't come back from that. So,
Right.
then there are other
They
people
don't
that
have
are
that
willing
help.
to change that. Yeah.
Real shit, though. When you get in a relationship, you're not going to be able to avoid it. You get to know yourself more when you are in a relationship.
And then does that make you want to stay in that relationship because of it and you have that attachment, or does that make you want to resent that person?
It depends.
Yeah.
It depends. You know what I'm saying? You said earlier their childhood is paramount, not verbatim, obviously. Their childhood is paramount. So it depends, because based off, let's say she had an abusive father. She gravitates towards an abusive, toxic bad boy.
Yep.
That's an attachment. That's not a connection. That's an attachment and a codependency.
Oh my
Because
God.
the brain, what happened?
You just connected my brain. And you made me realize something. Oh, I don't like this.
That's what he does. That's what he does.
The brain
like
is,
literally right here.
yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay.
It's
Yeah,
muscle
no,
memory.
that's what he does.
It's muscle memory.
You know
for
why?
the brain.
You know why that is? Because he's a life coach. So he says words that trigger you into like, wait, whoa.
Okay,
What?
so I'm just gonna be honest. That was definitely me, and I did not realize that until just now. So as I said before, my parents, I know that they struggled in order to put a better life for me and my brother, right? I like to help fix men that kind of, I guess, would resemble my father. How he was at that time and stage. Like, he was broken, he was doing all this, so he was trying to find his way, trying to be able to complete, trying to be able to do. And instead of me wanting to fix myself and go through my shit, it's like, okay, if I'm going to be with you here, let me help.
Yeah.
Let me fix you. What's wrong with you? What happened to you? Why do we do that? Because we don't want to do
That's
our...
a rescuer complex.
Ooh.
I think that also depends on, you know, like Mr. Discipline said, like you can, once you get in a relationship, that's going to trigger you again. But the work that you've done on yourself before going into that relationship will help you navigate while you're in that relationship, because you know the things that you already don't like, or you know, things that like I said, you figured out about yourself that you don't like. Now you have this person that you have chosen to be your partner, and they're helping you.
That.
And they're seeing it, but they're also pointing it out. And it depends on the type of partner you get. It could be, you know, an abusive person, an abusive man who is telling you, you know, in a negative way, you ain't shit. Look at how you act. Or it could be somebody else who says, why do you act like that? You know, and makes you question yourself, like, why do I act like that? But you got to do that work for yourself first before you even get into that.
Jeez.
I know, this is crazy. This topic is already on freaking spiciness. Jeez. All right, go.
So,
You warned me.
Thank God she's wearing red.
Right? Devil's in here. I'm sorry. I had to bring it.
you were
Holy.
warned. You were
I was
warned.
also just at the 50 concert and the after party 2 days in a row. So let me tell you, I can't help. I gotta be in my 50 mode right now.
Can the term misogynistic or misogyny be abusive? You know what that means?
Yes. And I feel like it...
That question confused me, actually. Is it calling somebody a misogynist? Is that the abusive part? Or them being a misogynist, is that abusive?
I think calling them?
Both. Like, why is there a term for it? And then calling them. Like, why don't we talk about misandry when we hear that more? Or a misandrist.
Not gonna lie, I didn't even
when
know
we
those
hear
were
that,
words.
When we hear that more. A misandrist. You know what a misandrist is?
I'm assuming it's the female misogynist?
Yes. So she, or it could also be a man, bashes men. Men ain't shit. Or a woman's like, men ain't shit. They all cheat.
Is that a gay man or a straight man saying that? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because there are male feminists too.
Well, I'm just asking because now I don't know if it's a man transgender or not. Like, so it's...
there's a lot of
there's a lot of layers to this now. So it's just like
there's no gender, there's no sexual orientation.
Okay. So man to man.
So we hear more misandrous or misogyny. We don't hear more no.
You hear more misogynistic. Why don't we hear more misandry? I guess there's a lot of people like me that didn't know that was a word.
I think it's because of like how you say, like if a woman is abusing a man, the man is either going to get called a bitch and be told to man up or just take it. I think it's the same. It's the same thing. Like, all right, it's almost like second nature. Like, all right, it's a woman bitching about a man. You know what I mean? Like, there's no consequence or anything for it. But as far as the term misogynist, I don't think a term can be abusive. That's just like, you know, somebody calling another person ugly.
It could be triggering.
Well, I guess it could be like emotional abuse or whatever, or triggering.
Okay. So y'all already know my stance on this, so I'm not going to answer it. So this is kind of like in the beginning when we talked about why are men seen as the more aggressor in domestic disputes.
I don't know. I feel like that's just kind of what's always been the case and been shown to women, not only, I guess, in their own personal lives, but then in movies and television and games. Like, it's always just kind of come down to, well, the man is superior, the man is powerful. Here, this is what the man is doing to the female. Like, we haven't really heard about that for decades and decades until now. Again, I guess it's more so in the last, 20 20 that it's really been out there, 30 that women have been, trying or stuff. But like most of the times, I guess the female has always felt like, well, if she's going to say something, who is going to believe me? Is it going to matter? Is it going to change? Because they see no matter if who they're bringing it to. Is it your doctor? Is it the police? Is it the lawyers? Is it like they're all men.
Right.
They were all men. Men stick together. So, okay, there's just so much. See, I don't want. Is this the podcast where we get down and dirty? Because this is where my thoughts
girl,
go.
Get
okay.
down and dirty,
so
girl.
now this just turns into a whole thing where, God forbid, a woman, when she's out or whatever, and then she's by herself, and then the group of guys are around her, and then it's like, oh well, I like you. I want, okay, it doesn't matter. No, and then she says no. And then that's where a man goes to, and then God forbid she gets raped, and then not only is she getting raped, but she's now getting gangbanged by a whole bunch of guys that are able to strong arm her, hold her down, do the whole nine, because she is a woman. So now she is ripped up, bloodied, the whole nine. And I mean, again, we've heard of this. This shit has happened. So now she's going to the closest person that's there. And then God forbid he doesn't believe her, and he's going to do the same fucking thing to her. Or sometimes she'll go to the police. The police aren't going to do anything.
Yeah, and this happens in other countries.
Exactly,
where men
it's not just here. It's
I
just,
disagree in America. If she went to the police and he wouldn't believe her, maybe different countries.
Different countries, definitely.
Maybe not in America wholeheartedly, right? With the police, 1000%, because yes, they would. But then if they don't have, because of the law, if they don't have evidence, if they don't have this, if they can't find the person, if there's no cameras, if whatever, and then they just close the case. Right? It's not important enough to them. And this has also been shown. And then all of a sudden the Me Too Act happened. So that's why now it's a way more prominent, and females feel like they have a voice because people will listen to them finally. But back then, a lot of times a female just didn't feel like it was going to
I agree with a lot of what she says, but in terms of why are men seen as the more aggressors in domestic dispute, everything that she says, I agree with, but also you also have that factor where some women will just lie.
Oh, 1,000%.
They will just lie about, because they want him and he doesn't want her, but he wants the
Somebody
other girl.
else.
Well, now if I can't have you, nobody's gonna have you, and you're gonna go to jail. I'm gonna make sure that you don't get out.
And
there are some. There's
that's
men that are
terrible.
like that too.
Yeah.
There's people like that.
And that's when it doesn't.
Yeah. And I also feel like men won't. I think they'll hide it if they're getting abused by their girlfriend or wife or anything. I don't think that they'll.
Embarrassment.
Yeah, they're not gonna own up to it. Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah.
So why do I believe they're seen as more aggressor? The more aggressor, because we all, even though we haven't seen it, we all are aware of what men are capable of. We are not aware of what women are capable of. You and I could be having a verbal altercation. We could be yelling. We could be having a yelling contest. I don't know what you're capable of, but you know what I could be capable of. You understand what I'm saying? You could just be
Visually.
You could just be aggressive verbally. Now, it might not turn anything beyond. It might not escalate from there. You know what I'm saying? Because you believe I'm not putting my hands on a man. But then another woman, she'll take it there. I'll throw hands, whatever.
Yep.
Do what I gotta do.
Like that. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So, but there's that possibility. With a man, the probability, if he's unhealed, toxic, grew up in a bad environment, maybe a low income environment where he just saw crime, he didn't have coaches, mentors to teach him about, emotional intelligence.
Has a short temper.
That lacks self-control.
Yeah.
He most likely will go off, and the probability is he's going to get physical.
Because that's the only thing he knows to resort back to.
So I think that's why men are seen as more aggressors in the domestic abuse disputes, because we are aware of what the probability of. We're aware of what they're capable of. We don't know. I mean, she's yelling. We don't know. Is she just gonna yell?
Right. Or
you don't know.
Or what is she gonna do? Hit him? Like they always go back down to that.
Two girls, same thing, same sex. Two girls arguing. They could just be arguing for the next 30 minutes until one person gives up, they get tired. They're not putting hands on each other. They're just
I
gonna do.
mean, it depends on
Thank you.
where that's
Thank
from.
you. I was about to say.
It depends
you
what-
you go into the hood.
That's
bitches
what I'm
will be
saying.
like,
But they're highly in their masculine.
that's true.
More feminine women are just. They might just have a yelling contest.
Yeah, they're like, fuck you, bitch,
That
and
is-
walk
They're not.
away.
They're not fighting. Now the men, on the other hand, what's the probability of that?
Wow, you just made me have another realization. Okay. I don't like this. This isn't cool.
This is all the time he does this. All the time.
Lord.
All right. So, who is most likely to tolerate bedroom or sexual abuse or violence from the opposite sex?
Okay.
Men or women?
I say both. And the only reason why is because I've worked in a den. Okay. Men, though you are so very disciplined.
I'm sorry.
And-
Could cut you off. Just explain to them what that is. Because you're
Oh,
saying a
the
den,
den.
like
Okay,
they might not.
my bad.
No. Like I know.
So
Yeah,
my apologies for you that don't know what a den is. That is where you can go and explore your sexual anything in a safe space that is with people that are background check, clean, the whole nine, but you can go in and you can explore your sexual fantasies, wants, desires, needs, whatever it is. There are some dens that have different rooms. There are some where it's just different floors and you can go be kinky with whatever. It's kind of like a swingers club, but it's a lot better. Anyway, so when I worked in a
Wow.
den, I only did 2 days as a dom sub, and then the rest of the time I was there, I was the phone girl because Rebecca was just a
Hello.
little bit not, I wasn't at that level yet to be able to be like, okay, I know, and now this is looping into it. I know that this very powerful Wall Street man wants to come in and wants me to beat the shit out of him and step on him and almost choke him until he's blue and then wrap him up in saran wrap and, wants me to pee on him and take pictures and degrade him and like all this stuff. But then when he comes out, he is literally the number one man that's on Wall Street. So how can I say that? But then in the bedroom, if you're in a relationship, and I know this also from experience and from friends, where we are dominated, but we like that. But then other times it's like, oh, well, that's a little bit too much. I didn't want it today. Like you said, Sue, there's a time and a place for that. So sometimes like I want that roughness. Sometimes I want the gentle, but sometimes a man also can't discern between the two. So there are a lot of, that pool is just swimming with a whole bunch
over
of
the place.
different,
So if you had to choose, though, what do you see it more from?
The man.
Like, really? How interesting.
Sue.
I was going to say women. But I'm talking my own perspective. You know what
And
I mean?
she's talking from her perspective too.
No. But I've never witnessed that. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like I've never seen a strong man want to get whipped. I've seen it in movies, but not, to me,
Where
that's
do
a
movies
movie.
come
It's,
from?
it's fiction
But
type.
where
You know
do
what I mean?
movies come from?
Yeah.
No matter what movie is fiction, this, that, no.
There's somebody
there is always
truth to it.
there is always going to be a truth to that. And I know this is
There's
going to
the
even sound
writers.
crazy. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean,
Yeah, they must pull from experience.
it has to. It's either experience or it's just like, if you're going to really get down and nitty gritty with it, it's the reading. If you're going to read back into the historical books that we have and then the premonitions that are here and all that stuff, you're going to write that in. But then look at all the shit that's happened over the decades following. When you're looking at movies from the 40s, 50s, 60s, you're like, oh, we already had that. Then we're looking at the movies from the 80s and the 90s and the Jetsons and all this stuff. Bro, we're right here. We're right here. So we just keep growing, we keep advancing, we keep getting more technology. Yes, some of it is definitely screwing with us, and it is not okay because we need to be back on this level of personalization and understanding that you can't be here without caring for other people.
Exactly.
But because of that, and because I've been out there, and because I've seen things, and because I've been on both sides of it, I can definitely see how a woman can go in with more emotional abuse and more, psychological into the bedroom because she has that power. Because, I mean, let's admit it, the man will always, kind of succumb to being like, yo, yes, of course, I want you, right? And then you're in there, and then all of a sudden, it's just like, oh, okay, do whatever you want to me.
Yeah.
It's okay. You could tie me up. You
Yeah.
could sign me. I'll sit here for 4 days. Or I'll just tell work that, I had food poisoning. Whatever. But,
Yeah, that's true.
The man will do whatever to get what he wants from her. So I feel like sometimes it might be,
I believe you make a valid point. I believe the woman is most likely to tolerate bedroom or sexual abuse or violence from the opposite sex. It's the same reason why those powerful Wall Street men go to the den or the dungeon. You understand what I'm
Exactly,
saying?
but a
And
lot of people
hire
don't know
that
that that's there.
beautiful mistress or madam or mommy, whatever. You
To
understand?
get that point off and then
Yeah.
be able to have.
Yeah, it's that release. So it's the same thing with women. Like, you know, that might be a catalyst to why the woman stays with the abusive guy for so long.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because,
1000%.
you know, they bring that to the bedroom and then it's like, but wait a minute, I'm coming here.
Literally.
I'm going through, yeah, literally. I'm going through that euphoric experience, that release. Maybe she is a dominant person in her day to day. And that's very stressful. And after that stress, I want to release. And that's a release. Could be a masochist in that lifestyle. You understand what I'm saying? So for them, it's actually not disrespectful.
Yeah.
It's actually not abuse.
But then again, those are for the people that have that outlet, that understand that there is that outlet. A lot of people might be over here like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what it is. I think most men don't know that they, you know,
There's
not
a
that
place
they don't
to
know.
do this healthily,
Right,
and not
but-
having to abuse your partner.
Yeah.
Right. No, but I'm talking about like this particular one about which one would
Okay,
do
more
violence
abuse.
more than, you know, than that. I think most men don't like they see that as a weakness. Like those men that go to the den, they know themselves. They know
Yes.
I need this release. Most guys don't know that, and I feel like they see that as a sign of weakness. You know what I mean?
And that's the funny thing. Men, you are not weak for being able to be in tune and in touch with yourself and your wants and your needs, because again, we are all there. We all got here from the same thing. Fucking. You might not want to think about it, but you need to explore what your wants and needs are.
Most women are gonna say that. I believe it's weak. But most women are gonna say that. You know what I'm saying? Why being vulnerable in that way, sexually or physically? You're not weak. You're in tune. It's weak to me. Just because I believe how men and women are built and how they should coexist with each other. We're getting into the next topic. Do you think it's natural? And I'm gonna go first. Do you think it's natural for a woman to want control over a man, or a man to control? Or a man could have the control over a woman. A man having control over a woman is natural. A woman wanting control over a man is not natural. I could go into so many different avenues of why it's not natural, but what?
No. I want to hear what she has to say, and then I want to go because I want something nice.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No,
Go
you
ahead.
go, Rebecca. You go.
Oh. And that's funny. I would never say, because I am a strong female.
What sign are you, by the way?
I'm a Libra, and that's
Interesting.
and that's exactly because as much as I am dominant, I will beat the shit out of you.
Balance.
Exactly. And that comes from being able to be in tune with yourself and understand that I like doing certain things. But at the same time, yes, beat the shit out of me, whip me, do all this stuff. But at the same time, sometimes I want to dominate you. I want to pin you the fuck down, and I want to make sure that I'm getting my shit off and you can't say anything about it.
She's a switch.
Do you think it's because you worked in the den that you're like that, or you always been like that?
And that's the funny thing. The only reason that I worked in the den is because I got approached from one of my friends. She was like, now you need to come. This is for you. And I was just like, I don't know what you're talking about. So she introduced me because she's a dominatrix. So it was a whole big thing where I didn't know anything. Now, mind you, and I will put this back to preface, my parents were not perfect. They were together. They got separated when I was 8. And then all of a sudden I grew up thinking that monogamy was like a princess fairy tale forever. And then I tried to force it. And then I realized with the one person, screw him because he broke my back, but he was the one that introduced me into understanding that monogamy is not anywhere of what we need. As a human. Now this is taken away from man or woman. Monogamy is not natural for us. So this is where you need to know yourself and your partner and your boundaries, being able to create that. So then the natural balance of things would not want to be controlling, but wanting to be on that equal balance scale because you know yourself and you know what you want at the time of when you need it.
I expect that from a woman.
So
I
from
expect that answer.
I don't think it's natural at all for a woman to want to control a man at all. I mean,
I don't
that's
think
for
it's
me.
natural, but it's a balance thing. It's not about like I don't want to control you, but I do see how a man would definitely want to control a woman.
Yeah, that
1000%.
I feel is more natural for a man to want to control a woman. But I feel like when a woman wants to control a man, it's because she feels like she's insecure.
Yes.
She's insecure and she feels like now she's in her emotions and now and the only way
need to
to
prove
get
this.
him to to be with me, it's almost like that when you buy something and it's perfect and you want to just keep it perfect,
Yeah.
and you want to keep it in that little special box. That's the same thing I feel like when a woman tries to control a man.
Ladies, I put these words specifically to trigger people. Control is very well present in every type of dynamic. Business, personal, relationship, whatever. Maybe it's fuck buddy culture. It is. We just don't like the word. They're triggers.
Because
But at
it
the
is
end of the day, you ask a woman, most women out there, because you're clearly a switch, Rebecca. So you're not in there. But if you ask a lot of women out there, do you want to be, and you can't blanket it in a great term. It has to be this term only. Ladies, do you want to be controlled in bed or submit? Women be like, I really don't like that word.
Control and submit, isn't it the same thing?
But I'm sorry. Do you want to control in bed, control the man, or submit to the man in bed?
Ah, I got you. Okay.
Him controlling you. The women will be like, oh, I don't like that word control. It's oppression. It's this. It makes me feel like a piece of trash. I deserve equal blah, blah, blah in here. She's going to say, okay, if I have to pick one, I'm going to pick to submit, to be controlled by the man. Technically, it's true. So it's not natural. And number one reason why it's not natural for the woman to control the man is because she probably went through some shit to make her want to do that. Because it's not natural. Spiritual structure, the ancestors and the gods created man in a woman's life to give her what a profession can't. To give her what she feel like she can't get from the same sex.
Which is why it upsets me so much that people are not more in tune with their spirituality, because you as a person, have you ever been in love?
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
in love right now.
Okay.
But you cut me off.
Sorry.
Hold on.
My bad.
So save that. Do you want to write it down or you got it?
No, I got it.
Okay.
I got it. Yeah.
So the thing is, like, it's not natural because women are born feminine. Men are born masculine. So if a woman is not behaving femininely, something happened to her along the line. You understand what I'm saying? The man leads. That's also synonymous with controlling things. You hear it all the time. Women want a man to take charge. They don't mean that in a negative aspect. Baby, just pick something where to go eat.
Tell me what to cook.
Tell me what position you want me to be in bed. I don't want to think about shit. That's too stressful. But go ahead.
A man or a woman could definitely be in that role from, it's too stressful. I don't want to do this. So and again, I am not your average female because I don't ever see things from just one sided. I do see what you're saying though. And I understand how this has been the norm because this is just what we go back to. But now touching back onto, sorry for cutting you off, onto that spirituality thing. If we were more in tune with our spirituality together as a human, and this is now taken back from America, this is across the fucking globe, bro. Because then if we really wanted to, then we would understand that none of the shit that's going on matters, right? So that control that we would need, the control that they feel that they need would not be there because what do we really need? You need to be harmonious. You need to be happy. You need to find love and you need to be content. So when you find somebody and you are realizing that you are a little bit more spiritual and you are a little bit more on that divine path of like, understanding myself and not needing the control or maybe wanting to be controlled, right, in or out of the bedroom, then I like feel this pull. And that pull is with that person. And then if that person is on that wavelength and then can understand, ooh, okay, this is way deeper than just a physical attraction or like this is my spirit. This is my spirit that's talking to me, right? And then the two of you know that you have this thing together. Now in bed, sometimes she wants to control the shit out of him and he's okay with that because he wants to let her exert her dominance. But then outside of the bedroom, she's never like that. And then on the flip side, she's like, no, I want you to dominate me,
That's not true. It depends on their dynamic.
Exactly.
Like if he articulated that and whatnot.
But it always comes down to
But-
it's depending on that dynamic for people to understand themselves and understand what it is that they want.
Okay. The natural thing is men decide, women submit. Men lead, women follow. So that's just the natural, way to go about it. Man is masculine,
woman.
feminine is female. So, that's just how it is. Control doesn't have to be a negative connotation. You asked me earlier, have I ever been in love? Where were you going to go with that?
If you were in love, which you say that you are now, right? Is it always the same for y'all in the bedroom? Are you always the man that's always leading and dominating no matter what? She's always submitting. So that's just like any woman that you will ever find, that's how it is for you because that's how you are as a person, right?
Absolutely.
That's what you know. That's what you like. You're not a person that would want, even in the bedroom, to be dominated. You don't want to be told what to do.
Absolutely.
You know
not.
yourself. And that's what it comes down. You know yourself.
Absolutely.
A lot of men that don't know themselves are like, okay, let's see what's up.
They go with the flow type.
That's it. I love her. I'm going to give it to her. That's cool. So for them, it might be natural for us, but then they're like, you know what? All right, that's cool. I'll just pull back a little bit. Let her have her thing.
Okay.
And that's if you were in love and you were like, if she just wanted to try it. You feel me? She's just like, I want to see how you feel when you do it to me. So that's why, because not many people are going to do that if they're not in love.
Yeah.
But then I feel like if you had her and like, yo, I really love you. And she came to you and be like, babe, I've been, thinking about this for a whole hot minute, but I've been scared coming to you. But I just, I want to just once. Now, on that note, if you didn't want that's it, and you were like, no, you put your foot down. You're like, I'm not doing that. Right. But she really was adamant. Would you be willing to let her go to the den? And that happened to her?
No.
Okay.
No,
Oh,
because
go to
I'm
the
also
den?
because
Wow.
on top of that I'm also
Interesting.
see on top of that I'm also territorial and possessive.
Again, you know yourself, and that's beautiful.
I
You
get
need to
what
know that.
I get what you mean. That's why I've said this in shows. I'm glad we brought her on. When you don't
this is good stuff.
when you don't mention to your partner about your kinks and your fetishes prior to marriage,
Bro, you're fucked.
yes,
You're fucked. I have seen so many of my friends right now, and it's crazy to like understand this. And I don't know if either one of you have kids. I will never have a child. And I will not have a child to bring it into this world because especially if this person that I'm with does not align with me on every single level for everything that we have, God forbid something happens, I do not want that child to have to deal with my shit and my trauma with my person that I had because we made you and it was a fluke. And now you are going to have to deal with that shit for the rest of your life. And then God forbid if you grow up to be a fucking mass shooter. God forbid you grow up and then you just want to hurt yourself. You want to hurt animals.
That's
You're
hard.
doing all this shit. That's on me. I'm going to think about that for the rest. I don't want to fucking deal with
it's
that.
gonna come down
That's
to
true.
how you raise them, though.
Exactly. And now you're walking around. I'm in New York. I'm walking around and I'm seeing all these kids with kids.
Yeah.
That are walking around on their cell phones and they're on their cell phones and their kid is just trying. Bro, I just saw this yesterday on the train. This little kid was sitting there, daddy, trying to show him something that he made. He's like 4 or 5 that he just made in summer camp. And he's so excited. And his father is literally on his game. And no, I'll talk to you when we're home. That like, bro, you need to be there for your child.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to be there for your child and then you're salty against your baby boy or your baby mama or whatever's going on, now you're taking that out on that child.
So that's interesting.
We just had this last show, being an active father.
That's why I couldn't go on that one. Nope.
Okay, so are you familiar with BDSM?
Yes.
What's the difference with abuse and BDSM?
Safe words.
Okay,
Oh,
so
I was gonna say consent.
Consent has to be, and then if you're consenting with that person, then you have to have a safe word. So, sorry, yes, consent definitely. Safe word is also great. If you want to make it something fun or funny, it's great, like whatever. But again, it's always in unison. Now, I don't know if that might be a little freaky. I have a tattoo here of yin yang. Why?
Oh,
because
cool.
everything has to go in unison.
I have it on my leg. The Yin Yang Twins. That's a rap group, by the way. Anyway, okay. So, what's the difference between dominant and controlling? Ooh, I wrote something good for this, but you go first, Rebecca.
Dominant is when they know when they need to step back, and controlling was when they feel they need to control every single aspect of that person and your partner from top to bottom. Where are you going? Who's your friend? What are you eating? What are you wearing? What are you doing when we're going out? I'm doing everything. I'm controlling everything. You don't have a say. You don't have a word. Sit down.
Okay.
I said this is my opinion. Someone who's controlling is someone who doesn't have control. And that's why he wants to control everything about it. Now, someone who is dominant has control over everything. His tone, his actions, how he speaks to people, how he controls himself. That's dominant.
Okay. Let me just go back to 7, and then I'm gonna do 8.
Sorry.
Abuse and BDSM. Yes, consent. Abuse is sporadic. It's not talked about. BDSM, there's arrangements. So the man is already, whether it's the dominant or the woman's the dominant or the man's
You
the
already know
dominant.
what's going on.
Yeah, there's an arrangement there. You know that if you you're gonna follow certain rules, and if you don't or
It's
you
like an
disrespect
agreement.
me,
Yep.
there will be consequences.
Yep.
I will hold you accountable, punishment, whatever.
BDSM is planned.
And she's already saying,
Planned.
or he's already saying, yes,
Yep.
I will
Yes, let's
comply
do
to
this.
that. Yes,
Tie me up,
So,
bitch.
so it's like a contract kind of.
Yes.
yes,
Like
could be physical, could be invisible.
Yep.
Contract. The difference between dominant and controlling is whether she submitted or not. That's the difference. So
Aha. Now I understand why you're saying which it comes from, because now
Yeah.
it makes sense. So yes.
So hypothetically speaking, we've never met. This is the first time we met on the show. Let's say we were to go out on a date, and I'm already ordering for you. I'm telling you, this is what you're gonna eat. That's controlling.
Yep.
You're not my sub.
Yep.
You haven't submitted yet.
Yep.
But the moment you submit, and I said, this is what you're eating. I think it's great for your figure. You're gonna be in the gym.
Okay.
You're gonna be in the gym too. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna be like, okay, good, but it still seems as controlling to the normal
1000%.
person.
Yep.
But it's the same thing. It's just that did she submit or she didn't submit?
You've said we've had the same question before a couple of times. And every time you say the exact same thing, I'm always like, wow, that's so true.
Literally, I'm
Every time. I've heard him say this at least 5 times. And every time I'm like, damn, that is right.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's
Yeah.
1000%. And if you put it that way, which is very methodical, and you need to think about this stuff. But again, you have brains. Some of these people out here don't want to think about it. They might have the strength. They're like, no, I don't want to touch on it. And that's because those are triggers for them and whatever it is. But again, you're not going to grow. You're not going to be able to change. You're not going to be able to do anything different
Yeah.
or be able to love yourself until you do.
Well, I'm not above anything, and I don't think I'm untouchable. So for me, I believe that if they need help, I could be,
There
the
to help
catalyst to help them. That's why we have this show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
You're just
saying?
doing it in a very real way.
Mm.
And he's a life coach, people. Life coach, relationship
Him
coach,
up for
spiritual
everything.
coach.
So, Rebecca, what do you believe it means when they say a man's supposed to lead in a relationship?
Which is funny.
What does it mean to you?
When the man has to lead in the relationship is more so of like, take care of me while I'm taking care of myself. Make sure that if I had a long, rough day, you're not coming in with stupid questions. You're not expecting me to cook. You're not doing all this stuff. Like, you're here to make my life easier, so then you know that I'm going to be there to love you harder. But if you're going to, like, just be there. Don't control me and what I want to do unless that's what we want, and that's, like the contract or the relationship that we have, that's fine. But if you're going to lead in my relationship, just like, bro, if you know that you're down a level or 2, I want to see you come up on 4 and 5. So lead in that relationship. Be there for me while you see that I'm taking care of me. Just be there and be my rock, and no matter what happens, like, you're taking care of you, but you're also taking care of me.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
I think when they say the man is supposed to lead, he's supposed to, make the right and proper decisions for, either the family or the couple, to protect, and guide, for security. That's what I think it is.
yeah, I concur. I think he's supposed to lead the family, have finances in order to lead a family, be an active father if he has children.
Yes, definitely.
Be involved.
Be involved. Be
Build security for the woman.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Emotional,
Physical,
psychological,
everything.
physical, sexual. She needs to be able to trust you. That's the
Mm-hmm.
biggest operative word
Trust.
right there. Trust.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because
And we all
if
do it.
if the woman trusts the man, it's not controlling.
Nope.
You
So
understand what I'm
I
saying?
know that you have your
Mhm.
best intentions in mind for me because
Yeah.
you love me.
Yeah.
You're not gonna sit here and hurt me. You don't want to hurt me. You love me.
Absolutely.
And you want the
You
best
want a
for me.
guide.
Absolutely.
And I'm
Exactly.
okay for that.
Mhm.
So, what do you think it means when the woman is submitting? What does that mean?
She trusts him. She loves him, exactly like you said. It's, it comes down to, it's just like, I submit to you because like I want to give you everything. And I've been in that position, and it's like I've been in that position in a relationship, and I've been in the position where like I felt like I wanted to give it and I'm unable to. Right? So it's like, if I knew that as a woman, I was just like, yo, I know, like, I will give you everything. I will submit to you in any way that you want. Why? It's because I feel like I want you. I feel that connection. I want to just give you everything because I see you as that man in my life. I see you leading my kids. I see you like raising them and being amazing and laughing with them and taking care of me when I'm sick and rubbing my feet when I had a long day. And like, I just take me, just.
So,
I think what about a woman? Oh, a woman to submit, I feel like she has to be open to receive, that guidance, that protection. She has to, tap into her femininity to support and comfort, be that, I think we said it before, that helpmate, encourage. That's what I think it means.
yeah, you said a lot of great things. I'm going to piggyback off that. It means being optimistic, bringing peace. He might have come home from a hard, stressful day, and he's like, fuck this shit. I'm not a guy that throws things, but maybe he's like, fuck this shit, whatever. She needs to remain calm. Don't add fuel to the fire.
Right.
Baby, is there anything I could do? Maybe he wants to be left alone. And then
Yeah,
5 minutes, she'll come over or whatever. That's part of that. Respecting the man,
1,000.
respecting his leadership, trusting in his leadership, trusting in him, allowing him to be the man in there, especially if that's what he wants. Being vulnerable, that's big. That's part of submission, being vulnerable. Now, I know a lot of women today have a problem with that, but but the solution to the problem is choose better. Because if you know you're not going to be present in that dynamic, why even entertain it? Why be there? I don't entertain women that I know I'm not going to be dominant or present or masculine there because I know I'm not going to love her. I know I'm not going to be able to protect, provide, and I thrive in being in this energy. So I'm not going to entertain it.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's the solution to the problem, vulnerability. And vulnerability, it is one word that has many different branches and avenues in it.
So can I ask you a question on vulnerability then?
Yeah.
You said earlier about a man being weak if he was vulnerable.
Yes, because the man is not supposed to be as vulnerable as the woman.
But is he able to be vulnerable at times?
Yeah,
with
him
her?
being vulnerable is protecting. Him being vulnerable is, I'm a technical boxer. Him being vulnerable
Yes, he
is I'm holding your hand while I'm on the side of the traffic. A drunk driver could hit the curb and I'm getting hit first. That's him being vulnerable. I'm putting my life on the line for
so
you.
you're taking it as
God forbid a
technical-
burglar comes in. I'm not hiding behind you because you showing me you got muscles.
So you can be physically vulnerable, not emotionally
Yes,
vulnerable.
because the woman needs to always look at you as, yo,
Being
if shit comes down,
You got me.
Yes.
Even
But
though
there
I can
aren't-
handle my damn self.
Yeah, but she still needs that security.
Exactly. And that's when
Don't-
a man.
just don't-
Sorry. And that's when a man is taking care of me when I'm taking care of myself. That's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, he always has to remain strong because I know that if I get in my ass, no, that's my man. He gonna whoop your ass.
Listen,
Or whoop your ass for starting the problem.
Exactly.
Hey,
That's later on. You know?
hey, or even this, right? Well, that's kind of toxic. Women, don't go out there and
do
start
that.
fight. Don't put your man in a position to be
Yeah,
in
don't do
jail
that.
or
That's
some
not
shit.
okay.
Now she got to
Or in
bail.
the
Okay.
hospital.
Yeah, don't do that.
That's bad. I
so
think
that-
also though, when you're in a relationship and a man wants to show his vulnerability, it could be an inside joke that you guys have together. That's being vulnerable and not being goofy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like him, introducing you to one of his favorite, shows that he liked when he was a kid, or something like that. That's being vulnerable, but not in that, like I said before, like not in that goofy way.
Yeah.
He's sharing intimate details of his family life or something. That's being vulnerable, and it's not something that that she can mock him for,
Word.
or take away from take away from him.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
different ways of being vulnerable without having to put yourself out there like
yeah,
that.
but I believe the man is being vulnerable physically. Providing, protecting, knowing that there could be possible risks. Like I could be providing for her and she could leave me tomorrow. Like he's being vulnerable. He's putting himself out there. The women has to be vulnerable mentally, sexually, spiritually to let the man in, because they pair bond. Y'all pair bond more than we do. So y'all have to give your all. That's how the feminine is built. The masculine is built to hunt and protect and provide and stuff of that nature. So he doesn't really have time to be vulnerable emotionally because he has to always think logically.
And be alert.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of Godfather, and then we're going to jump into the next bullet. Part 2, Vito's dying. So Michael Corleone, are you familiar?
I've never
Rebecca?
seen it. Don't judge me. And I live on Staten Island.
You've never seen The
Okay.
Godfather? Oh my
So
Lord.
you're probably going to watch it tonight.
I probably am.
You
Yeah.
better.
So Vito, who was the Don of the family, right? He's dying. So Michael, his strongest son, he believes, is taking on. He's going to be the head of the family. So he says to him, be careful as you're going in this meeting. Make sure your eyes are peeled. It could be an ambush. Women and children can be careless, but not men. So women can always get a pass for being emotional. It's evident.
A man can.
The man can't.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because he always has to be that leader. He always has to be strong just in case shit hits the fan. Like you always have to look at me and say, he looks dangerous. Because, if the lion is walking around, he's not bothering anybody. But you know what he's capable of. But the man, even though he's dangerous, he needs to control that.
Yeah.
But he should have that with him for certain circumstances like trespassers.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Protecting his woman.
Yep.
That's when it should turn up. It should never be turned on her. It should be turned up to protect her.
Say it for
That's-
the
that's
guys
the-
in the back who don't know.
That's what it comes down to. So can both play the same role?
At the same time?
Submitting, both masculine and feminine.
I mean,
switches.
You are. I was going to say you are
Yeah.
aware that you're talking to a
Again,
switch.
Yeah, exactly. And then that just also comes down to being aware of you, your partner, your boundaries, your wants, your needs, your openness, your communication, and your future. And do you
Okay.
want to build together? So talking to me, I think yes, it can, but there has to be that equal balance. And, on some days, if that we're both going to work, we both have really good jobs, we're coming home and it's both going to be late nights, then give me my damn space and let's just do our thing. Right?
Yeah.
Then there's other days when it's just all right, I had a long day. I want you to come home and I want you to fucking cuddle me. But there's always just a give and a get.
Let me tell you something. And I'm
Yeah.
not trying to kick game or flirt with you.
Oh, I know
So
you're
no
not. It's all
disrespect.
good. You're in love, bro. You good. she's happy at home.
So check this out, right? Check this out. A man, right? A man can always change the character, well, not the character, but the behavior of the woman that he's trying to pursue. So if that man, because remember I said earlier, women give their all more than men giving their all. If that man is a dominant, let's say, and he exercises control in all things, that's also part of his love language. And she loves him, she grows to love him. She will turn from being a switch like you to 100% submissive because she knows that's what he likes and I love him and I see a future. She's going to start investing.
I disagree. And the only reason why, and
Have you met that
yes.
already?
Yes.
Okay.
And
I doubt that, but
and,
okay.
But for me personally, where I am now with my mental awareness of myself,
Mm-hmm.
I am too strong of a person to want to always be submissive. I will never always be submissive. I might be in the bedroom, I might be after work, like whatever. There will be times, but
Why is that?
Trust issues.
Yes. 1,000. I don't like
So
him.
okay, so
1,000%. Yes.
she said I don't like him because
Yes.
he be speaking that truth. Damn it.
I have
That's
definitely
okay.
had trust issues. Okay, so here's my biggest trust issue. I mentioned before that I had a broken back, right? This came from a relationship that
I need you to explain that because to me a broken back is when he does it right and he breaks your back.
Well, unfortunately, no. That's what a lot of people have asked.
Yeah.
So it's not sexual.
No, see, that's why I had to ask because
shit.
she made
No.
it sound like it was bad. So I was like, a broken back. I've never heard of it as
Okay,
bad.
Like you
so
so it
heard,
has to
you
be
heard
something
people say
else.
phrases like he blew her back out.
Yeah.
Blew her back out. Yeah, I understand that. Like, but if he blew my back out, I'll let you know that he blew my back out.
So
He did not.
what do you mean broken back?
We had an altercation because we were splitting up, and I just got word that I got approved for my brand new house. I was moving out.
Oh,
I was
nice.
supposed to be on The Real World Orlando. I was driving back home from it, and then he recorded the whole conversation and found out. And then when I got home, my door was locked, and I was locked out of my house, and I was like, what's going on? Long story short, I was just like, yo, I need to go to bed. I have work in the morning. And he was like, I'm not done talking to you yet, and pushed me backwards, and I slipped on the shirt I just took off, and I fell right into the corner of my metal bed frame.
So you really literally broke your back?
1,000%. And then I went to jail after because he lied to the cops, and this was in Florida, and said that I assaulted him, which I never did, when the cops literally could have walked 25 feet down the hallway to go to the records to see that he was lying, but instead took me to jail. So I was in jail for 3 days.
No
with a
wonder
broken
you
back.
said all that stuff about,
Yeah.
and when you go to the male cops and they're not going to
Yeah.
believe you. Holy shit, it's
Because
like a
then there
freaking
was
puzzle piece.
And there was a little twist from that too, because then there was a whole altercation when my back was broken 2 weeks later with the guy that I was staying with, because we had a barter system. He used my car, I was staying with him. And then I went back to the job that I had so I can go collect money. He wanted to stay. I was like, yo, I'm going out to the car. All the guys tried to roughhouse me because they knew that I had a broken back, almost got raped by 15 guys outside of the strip club. And then they knew that I got a lawyer. So the day before I was able to go get the footage, they changed out all of the camera system.
No way.
So I wasted $30,000 for me to try to get justice on these
Wow.
people that literally fucked with me, and I couldn't. So trust issues. And this comes after my ex that was on and off for 11 years that I was engaged with dipped. Feel me? So it's just like...
And this is the one that broke your back, or a totally different
one.
guy?
Exactly.
Oh,
so this
boy.
came after. You feel me? So, and then he came back, and I shouldn't have let him back, but I did.
In all honesty, you haven't seen what discipline was describing.
Nope.
Like that type of a relationship where he's like legit 100% about his word and wants to look out for you.
No, because the whole thing that I had with this life that was great, all of a sudden, that was gone. That was
Yeah.
not him. He was literally a whole different person. So I was one of those people that literally was like, wait, what? You have a different life?
Right.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah. So then the guy that I was with for the 11 years on and off, this was in between.
Oh.
So he left me, and then I went down to Florida, met this guy, and then this happened. And then I technically kind of got kicked out of Florida, so then I had to come back up to New York. And when I was up here, the ex that left me, he was like, I'm so sorry, you want to get back together? And I did. Like an idiot, because I was so submissive for this guy, because I loved him so much, I was willing to do anything for him. And then I got back with him after he hurt me that much, right? So cool, not a problem, until we were supposed to get married. And then he left, and I haven't heard from him since.
When were you supposed to get married?
This will be 4 years. It just passed in July.
You know what? That's a blessing in disguise.
Hell yeah,
Mama.
it is. Fuck that a-hole. All good. I have a better life. I love my cat. We're good.
Why are all these guys leaving though?
Because I have trust issues. Because my life, like I said, was not perfect when I was growing up. You feel me? Like, I know that my parents were not compatible. They're best friends now, which is great. But in a relationship, that's why you need to know yourself. It's not going to work with the two of us together, but we can be best friends. And they are. And I love that for them. Right? So I'm up here now in New York because I went back to Florida, whatever. There was a whole big thing. But like being back up here and being able to understand that it's like I know that this is me, and unless I go through my shadow work 1,000% and have the time and the mental capacity to do that and the emotional to be able to do that, I'm not gonna do that.
Listen, the time is there. Is you having the mental capacity and the emotional.
And I do have the time because I just got into a really bad car accident.
Oh my God, this
on
poor
June
woman, girl, you better
1st,
go play some
right?
lotto.
Well, yeah, it's up to like $1 billion, right? So after that happened, it was like, I'm out of work. I haven't been able to work. So for somebody like me not being able to work, I was like, nope, I'm going to start my own business. So I'm doing that instead, right?
So what's your business?
Management consulting for hospitality. But it's just more so because you understand that I know me. I don't want to work for somebody anymore. I can't work for somebody anymore. You're going to give me all these hopes and dreams and say, oh, I want you to come in because I want you to help change this. I want you to build a team. I want you to do X, Y, and Z. All right, cool. I'm going in the world with all my guns blazing. I'm all ready and I'm learning and I understand it now. I see it. And then you want me to change it. And then you're like, we're
Slow
not
your
ready
roll.
for that
Yeah.
yet. And it's just like, but you this is what you wanted.
Hired me for it,
and now
right.
you're telling me no. I can't do that anymore. So
It's like a yo-yo.
exactly, I'm not okay with that. And that's when I've learned about me and myself over the years and the relationships and how it's going to be. And because of this, my trust, I will see into the nitty gritty for everything.
Do you think you not overanalyze, but like you make assumptions already without knowing like the facts with
No.
like specific? No, you don't.
No,
Okay.
and this is the crazy thing, and that's why it kind of sucks so much with me.
Self-sabotage too.
Yes.
You
Not
do.
only
You do
I
self-sabotage?
can, I
Okay.
can, because for me it's always about, you know how everybody was like, well, there's always two sides to the coin.
Yeah.
There's
Fuck the
three,
coins,
actually.
bro. No, there's no coins. We come from a
coins.
goddamn box. This box has how many sides if you really want to think about it? 12, 16. Right? You're going to sit inside that box, and all you're doing, if you're sitting in your box of your comfort zone, you're only looking here, and you're looking at what's in front of you. Did you look down between your legs of where you're sitting? Did you look up? Did you, oh, I can stand up outside of this box. Let me see what every other side has. Because there's 50 Shades of Grey for a damn reason. So get up outside of your little box, your mindset where you just put all of your shit and just open up the box and be like, yo, I can do this differently. I just need a different perspective. I need a different view.
True.
Can they both have the same role,
Yes.
and why?
So we can get into final
no,
thoughts.
I don't think that they both can have the same role. You know that saying, there's too many, chefs in the kitchen, not enough. All right, too many chiefs and not enough. Same thing. I believe that there has to be a leader and there
Balance.
has to be a follower. That's me personally. All right.
Yeah, I concur. Balance. So I don't really think a really 100% 24/7 submissive wants to get with a 100% 24/7 submissive guy.
Yeah,
There's a
definitely
reason.
not.
There's a reason why it's common for good girls to be with bad boys. Polarity. You know what I'm saying? Polarity, sexual polarity, psychological polarity. That's why a masculine and feminine is needed in the relationship dynamic. A woman might be hyper masculine, she gravitates towards the hyper feminine guy, and then the man is hyper masculine, gravitate towards the hyper feminine woman. It's not usually common where the masculine man gravitates towards the masculine woman. The only way that may even be a brink of interaction or relationship is if she looks a certain way. Subjectively, what I think is beautiful. Damn, she's hot. But she's hyper masculine because you're not seeing her soul. You're not reading her energy. But it won't last because eventually he's gonna be like, damn, I know her. It's like I was saying in the last show where women would be like, for what you won't do, 10 of them niggas in the DM will. Yeah, they don't know you though, girl. I went through a lot of things with you and I'm still here. What if they knew that? Would they still want to be here? Show me the guys that want to give you that ring that just don't want to fuck. It's the same thing. So the reality is, like, for me, I test women that I want to be with. Not only do I ask them about their childhood and stuff, I'll clear out my whole day and spend the whole day with her to see if she's gonna get on my nerves.
That always makes me laugh when he says that.
So
I love that. That's so true.
if she doesn't get on my nerves,
He's
I'm like,
like,
oh shit.
That's
It's
so
going on 3
understand.
hours.
You know why? Because eventually I want to eventually a woman's gonna live with me or two.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking about, okay, I'm gonna see her 7 days a week.
Yeah.
For a whole lot of hours.
That's
too.
a lot. Now let me tell you, and I've been in that dynamic also, and I needed my own bedroom.
Oh, in a poly? You were in a poly relationship?
No, I just had him, but I still needed my own bedroom. You need your own space. I'm with you 7 days a week, bro. I see you every day.
Yeah,
my space at work is not my space because there's people there.
Yeah,
there's sounds.
I definitely think people need, even if you're living together, you need your time apart.
That's why I understand a man cave. Any man that I decide to live with and be with and like for the rest of my life, bro, I want to give you a man cave.
First question out of her mouth is, do you have a man cave? That's perfect. Yeah. Go there. Thank you very much.
Minimum 3 bedrooms. I need one, you need one, and then the guests need one. That's it.
So I want to thank you for coming on. Do you have any final thoughts? Do you have any disputes? Any objections? Do you have a problem with me and what I say?
She said,
you are your own person, and I respect everybody for who they are and understanding that this is who I am and this is what I bring to the table. Because what I might not be able to bring to the table, you can. And if we both bring it to the table, now we have something to talk about. We have something in common. You feel me? Now, yes, my final thought on this is that I see a lot of people with their mindsets as being dominant and submissive, right? How I have seen things like that throughout my life, which I understand, I am now being able to see them as we walk together side by side. Because we could still both be dominant, we could still both be submissive. If that's not what you want, this is what it is, cool. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna be here. I want to be walking next to you. I don't want to follow you per se. I want to be here with you, and I want to be doing the damn thing with you. But then, yes, I know that you are my leader. I know I'm here, but I'm still going to be with you doing this. And then you connecting those 4 points together, that's your energy together. That's how you know that you make this shit flow and work.
That's submissive.
Is that the equation of submissive?
Because she's pretty much saying wants to be a helpmeet.
yes.
I know you're the leader, but I'm going to be doing this with you. I'm going to help you.
So even if like, okay, I know that he's good, I know that he's doing his whole thing, but like I have my career and I'm not willing to give up my career for you or anything that you say.
Okay.
So like I'm doing my damn thing, you're doing your damn thing, we're cool, not a problem. But in the relationship for the two of us, you know I'm not gonna be giving up my.
Let me ask you a question. Why is it that you think that way, that you won't give up your career? Because do you feel like you want to have your own money?
The reason nothing for me is about money. Okay. Not even this lawsuit for her hurting me is about money.
She gave me a look like, bitch, you better take that shit back. My bad, Rebecca.
Money to me is just a very egotistical thing that is made for people to find a reason to do something that they shouldn't be doing. Because in all honesty, this entire world would work a lot better if we had a barter system. You have something that I need.
That's how it used to be.
And you have and you have something that you are fantastic at that I need. So let me give you something that you need that I'm really good at. Now this is how we build a village because we all got something. Now we're all doing it together. We're all putting in together. You're all doing that. You're happy. I'm happy. He's happy. Where's the fucking problem?
Right. But you just said right now to him, like, you're not willing to give that up.
I'm not, only because I'm here for a reason.
What's
and my
that?
reason,
like a purpose?
My purpose on this earth is to be able to help people. And how I want to help people is I have to travel. I need to spend my time with them. I need to make sure that I'm there with them and they have a part of me. But when I come home, I want to be with you. But I'm not willing to give up helping people and being able to maybe one day change this world because you want to dominate me. Get the fuck out of here. I know me, I know my purpose, I know what I want. If you can deal with me knowing that this is what I'm going to be giving to the world and all that stuff, then cool, let's be here with me. I'll submit to you in that role, but I'm not willing to give up me, my wants, my needs, or my life for a man.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't care how cool he is.
She's so funny. Now, wait. Now... Your purpose in that you said that is to help others. Is that your business, or is that your? Oh, it is. Like, so what? Can you describe what your business is?
So the funny thing is, I always wanted to do a business where it's like I want to be a connector to connect people, right? So it's like, how do you go about saying that? It's just like, but knowing who I am and what I've done, and I've been in operations for hospitality. I've been a restaurant manager. I've been a hotel manager. I have worked my way from bottom. I'm really good at events. I'm a bartender. I'm a traveling bartender. Why not take all the knowledge that I have and be able to just execute this for people that need the help, right? Do you want to grow your business? Cool. Do you want to have a profit build where you're doing something a little bit different, but you know it's going to make you 100% more money in the next year? You're going to stay in the black over that time. You're not going to. You're not spending all your time in your marketing. You're not doing this. But it's not just the hospitality part. It's customer service. Be a person. Let's learn how to be a person again. You don't have to be stuck in your ways and this. No, let's do this together. There's a way to help you.
So let's say somebody wants to hire you. Where can they reach out? Like where?
I'm the Pink Llama Mama. I'm on Instagram. I'm not done with my website yet. It should be up in about 2 weeks. But if you do want to drop a DM, you can. I'll give out my number on there.
Okay.
It's always about vetting people first, so I don't get any of the crazies. But it also, I'm not a life coach. I'm taking classes for it because I also feel
congratulations.
Thank you. I've been through so much to understand that, look, a lot of people might have broken their back and not realized that you need an outlet to talk to because it was not fun. They literally gave me a bedpan and morphine and Oxycontin scripts and they're like, good luck.
That's awful.
And it's like, so what am I supposed to do now?
Right.
And I had to drive with a broken back up to New York by myself. People feel isolated. You need an outlet to talk to. I've had so many different things happen that I know that I can help talk to other people so they can maybe overcome it and just keep growing. So I don't want to solidify myself as a doctor or a lawyer or a ballet. I am more than just putting one label on myself.
Okay.
And I can cook like a motherfucker, just so you know. And everybody that's had my cooking loves it. So
What kind of food do you cook?
everything. I'm a mixed one. I'm Puerto Rican, Cuban, Jamaican, and Haitian. My mom is white and she's all over the place. But like yesterday,
So wait, your dad. Hold up.
Don't even.
Wait a
We're getting into time. Don't even.
She's like, I need some
Don't
food.
even. Bring her on again. Do your final thoughts, and I'll do mine, and we're done. Don't
All
even. We will be here for another 2 hours.
Okay.
That's so true.
Rebecca, final thoughts? Was that your final
That was
thoughts?
you guys are awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Do you think more abuse comes from men or women? I think that the abuse, like we said before, it's, and I hate to say it like this, kind of tailored to certain, men are seen as stronger. So they, to me, will be, they'll use that for themselves. That's like women know we're not as strong as men. So they use whatever they can to, abuse the men in their lives. So I think it comes from both. And I think that each sex uses what they're good at, kind of. Men are stronger. They're going to, manhandle you. I don't want to say women are smarter, but we're definitely more clever. And,
Smarter. Sorry. I'll say
our words can hurt.
yes.
So abuse comes more from women than men, because if we tailor it into the whole spectrum of like psychological, verbal, silent treatment, whatever I said, belittling, emasculating, women do that more than men. I'm gonna give you a situation subjectively, because I've had subs like this. When they're angry, that's when their submission is tested the most. When a woman is angry, she doesn't want to make you happy. She doesn't want to speak to you nicely. She doesn't want to lower her tone or even, cater. So that's abuse. Now me, I've been angry and I've been disappointed, and I still make it my business to hold myself accountable. I'm angry at her, I'm still holding her hand. I'm angry at her, I'm still opening the door. I'm angry at her, I'm still gonna pay bills. I'm angry at her, I'm still gonna provide. I'm angry at her, probably not gonna have sex with her because that's a reward, but I'm still gonna communicate with her. I might not give her FaceTime. You don't deserve to see my handsome face, but you'll hear my voice. You see what I'm saying? So I believe it comes more from women in the most subtle, passive-aggressive way. And men can only say, it can only be one or two ways for men. It's very rare a man will, you do have verbal abuse, but it's very rare a man will emotionally or give you silent treatment or whatever. A woman can say, stop arguing, I'll suck your dick. A lot of men will be like, let's go.
Yes.
I will say this, so you, and I always say this, every time we talk about it, you are a different type of man.
Yes.
You know yourself very well. You know what you will stand for, what you won't, and you hold yourself to that standard. And
So
you're
you make the
disciplined.
norm.
And you're disciplined. Most men are not like that.
Well,
And from experience, I've experienced you know, the downgrading, the belittling. I've experienced, you know,
The lack of empathy.
the shaming. I've experienced the projecting. I've experienced that. I have also belittled. I have also, you know, you make me feel like this. I have also manipulated. So it comes, I feel like everybody has it in them to abuse. It's just what you're going to work with. That's it.
So recently I look at this as abuse. I was supposed to have a one-on-one interview with like a woman who was an ex-dominatrix, but she says she wants to transition to submission because she said she had a dream that, and she was from Hawaii, right? She was visiting. She said she had a dream that she should be working with men. So, you know, we exchanged contacts. I'm like, oh, this would be dope. And the topic was going to be, how do you bring vulnerability with the dominant? How do you bring healing into BDSM? I did those shows by myself. So the abuse came, and I look at it as abuse.
Patreon.
Some people are just like, oh, this isn't that big of a deal. I'm all about respect.
Yep.
So when I was talking to her, I was like, listen, let's make plans. Let's do this. I'll accommodate your time, blah, blah, blah. She kept calling me submissive pet names, and she couldn't stop doing it.
Like what?
I said, hun, baby, sweetheart, candy drop, whatever else. I said, listen, I'm not trying to flirt with you.
I'm not your baby. I'm not your love. Just respect me and call me by my name.
2, I said, you know, you could refer to me as discipline. She said to me, listen, you got to let people be free. You like, I'm not going to remember. I said, yeah, but how are you not going to remember, you know, but you remember the date that we have to do the show. You remember the time you want to be here. How can you just not respect these boundaries? So she wanted to gaslight. Oh, is this from childhood? Were you abused? Were you this? Were you that? I said, listen, ma'am, let me flip it so you can understand. I'm gonna put you in my shoes. What if I refer to you as a bitch, and I just say, listen, I'm from the hood. You know, I speak that loosely. That word is loosely. I don't mean you're a female dog. I'm not trying to be degrading towards you. I just think you're a bitch. That's cool if I call you a bitch. And she was like, it's not the same thing. Yes, it is the same thing because it's how you view it. It is a trigger for me. But at the end of the day, why are you trying to get in depth? It's like if you told me you were abused by your man and every single time he was abusing you, he was calling you bitch this, bitch that, bitch, you're going to build trauma. I don't need to ask you, oh, why won't you let me call you a bitch?
Right.
Because this happened. If you tell me, address me as miss, address me as this, like I asked you here, when we do the show, how do you want to be addressed? Rebecca or your handle? You understand what I'm saying? It's all about respect. So it's just all about respect. So I said, you know what? She said to me, because she was trying to manipulate here, trying to call my bluff, right? I had my poker face on. She's like, I can't work with a man who's not going to let me just be free. I said, then we don't got to waste time. Delete my number right now.
Bye. That's it. Yeah. Because it all, as you said, it comes down
Boundaries.
to respect.
Yep.
She did not respect your boundaries, and that's it.
So that's what it comes down to. I said to her, listen, you know, it doesn't matter what trauma, whatever. We all have trauma, good and bad. If you tell me, don't call me baby, don't call me bitch. Okay, what would you like to be called? If I tell you, call me discipline or EL discipline or Mr., address me that way. It has nothing to do with I'm trying to control people or I'm not letting people be free. And that's what I articulated to her. Even when I used the analogy of bitch and put her in my shoes, I said, how does that make you feel? She didn't answer. She dodged it. But that's not the same thing.
It kind of is, because how many of like me and my girlfriend sometimes, bitch, let me tell you something. And we say it in the
and that's a term of endearment.
Exactly.
That's
Like, bitch,
the
I like your
difference.
dress. No, right? I don't think you're
It matters. It's not what you say. It matters how the other person feels that you're trying to build a relationship with.
Exactly.
And if you want to build that relationships, respect them.
Exactly. So if I'm in a relationship with a sub and she's also a little bit of a masochist, and I say, you my bitch, and she's like, oh, daddy, I love that. You see, then it's okay. Because you understand what I'm saying? You're not crossing those boundaries. It's within those boundaries. You see what I'm saying? If he likes to be called daddy, you know what I'm saying? Instead of baby, you're respecting his boundaries.
Mhm.
The sub is respecting the dom's boundaries. We don't have anything built. I asked her, I was like, why are you flirting with me? Because those are like flirtatious
yeah.
names and
okay,
stuff.
yeah.
I'm not flirting with you. That's just that's how I am. I'm free.
That's what she was saying. That's what she was saying. She
Okay.
said, you
You
can't
free.
control people. I said, listen, you used to dominate men, and maybe you think you want to dominate me here, but
Well, old habits. It's hard to get out of old habits.
I say you met the wrong one. So good luck with your future endeavors if you have any. I wish you the best.
Yeah.
And that was it. And after I deleted her number, she's texting me a long ass paragraph.
Nope. Bye-bye. Done. Did you read it? No.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, damn.
I'm nosy. So I read that shit, and then I swiped. Bye.
He said, "Let me see this." Yeah,
Block.
garbage.
Block.
I've been there, done that.
Yeah, so once again, thank you for coming on.
Yes.
I really loved your perspective, even though I didn't agree with a lot of them.
It's okay.
You cool people,
Yeah,
for.
and
you know?
we're gonna have you come back
Okay.
because
To
you
talk
have
about
lived
the
such an
business-
interesting life.
to talk
I
about the
have.
business aspect, and I'm interested in the life coaching
Yes.
because eventually I want to build a team down the line.
Yeah.
I worked
Traveling
for one
and
in
stuff of that
Florida,
nature.
just-
Workshops.
yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Where do you live? Do you live in New York or you live where?
I moved up to Staten Island to take care of my dad. So
Aw,
I am
that's
now
so
up here.
nice.
Yeah, he's old. He's 81.
So we're not going to get into
Okay,
it.
I'm
We'll
sorry.
be here
All right,
for
okay,
3
that's
hours.
it. Next time.
We'll bring her on.
It was a pleasure.
All right.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, you were tuned into one of the most raw, uncut, unapologetic, real podcasts of This Was Debbie Podcast.
Peace.